Hello, welcome to Pilates with Nicole. Today, as always, I recommend a little towel or something to bolster your head with if that's nice on your neck, but you will also need a tea towel or a pillowcase, or if you know for yourself that you are really tight in your hamstrings and glutes, and this would be hard for you. I know you can't see my foot. If you know that your leg can only be straight like down here, you might want to grab something a little longer, like leggings, long scarf, or if you have a yoga strap, you can also use that. Let me adjust this screen a bit. I don't know if that made a difference. Okay, so let's get started. Laying down on your back. If, again, the reason we have this pillow here is to bring your head and your ears in line with your shoulders. If when you lay down flat on the mat, you feel like the front of your throat is really long, that means that you probably want to have one of these little kind of bolsters or pillows just to bring your neck up. Okay, so we're starting with this tea towel in your hands, and basically you want it at least shoulder width apart, your arms, or a little wider. And what you're going to do is make sure that you're holding it with the whole width of your palm. You're not like letting the fingers at the ends here, your pinkies, open up. You want to have the grip totally across your palm as if you're holding a handle or something like that, because we want to work on that grip a little bit while we're here. You don't need to squeeze it super hard, but you just want to have that full width of your hands. Arms are long, and just take a few moments here, reaching your towel and shoulders up, and then drawing the shoulders back down. So your arms are staying straight, but you're protracting your shoulder blades and then retracting them, protracting them. That means lifting them up, separating them, and retracting them. Meanwhile, there's like a little tension on that towel. I probably should have said that before. Like, it's not floppy like this. You're pulling it apart. That's going to help you connect into your back muscles here and keep your arms stable and where you want them. A couple more here. And then let the shoulders rest like this in a neutral position, collarbone wide. Might even want to let them sort of get into the mat there. And now you're going to breathe and move your arms. So on an exhale, press the arms down, and maybe the towel even presses into your thighs a little bit. Inhale, lift the towel up and maybe even a little further back. And then exhale. And inhale. So you're gently pulling the towel apart the whole time, even when you're pressing and reaching back, inhaling and exhaling. And if you're like me and you've got maybe tight shoulders or just technology shoulders, you might be feeling a little bit of stretch or even cracking and popping. And that's okay as long as it doesn't hurt. Like if you're not getting a sharp pain around your shoulder, then you're good to go probably. Inhale and exhale. Now your arms and your shoulder heads, that's the round part, are moving, but see if when you reach your arms back, you can keep the shoulders away from your ears. That means they're not going up here. And your ribs in your body. That means they're not going to pop out of your shirt here, right? We don't want to arch the back and feel this happening. And inhale. Oh my gosh, one more. It's normal if your hands are getting a little tired or your arms are getting tired. Doesn't look like much, but we're working. The shoulders. Excellent. Place the towel down, shake it out for a moment, and then grab your towel again. So now you're going to take your right foot into the center of your towel or strap, and I like to have it kind of wide on the ball of the foot. You'll see why in a moment. If it's way down here, you won't get as much of a calf stretch when we move our ankle here. So first things first is let your legs stretch here. You might be feeling a stretch along the back side. If you want a deeper stretch, you stretch your left leg down to straight. So right from here, start to point and flex your foot. Ooh. If you're tight, you might feel that in your calf, in your hamstring, even maybe up into your seat, somewhere around here. You're going to definitely stretch out the legs today. Keep your breath flowing. Take both ends of your towel into your left hand. Bring your right arm off to the side a little bit. First things first, actually, if you want, you can put your right hand on your hip bone here. Send your left foot across your body without moving your hip. So just the leg is moving and your hip is staying on the mat. It's not lifting yet. So just take this stretch for what it is. You might be feeling it in your calf, in the side or the back of your knee, up along the side of your leg, wherever you feel it is great. And then send it all the way over, letting your hip lift. Holy moly. If you're like me and you have furniture in the way, go ahead and rest your leg on the furniture. And enjoy this sense of stretch along the outer side of your hip and butt. Might even go into your lower back a little bit. You might, I don't have room, but you could go all the way across, right? And let your foot go down to the floor if that feels useful to you. If you feel like you flopped down to the floor and you lost your stretch, maybe try somewhere else in this range of motion, right? Whew. Okay, let's lift that leg up. Switch hands, grab both ends with your right hand. Open your left arm out to the side and send your right leg off to the side some amount without rolling over, okay? So try to keep this opposite hip kind of heavy as you hold your leg out. So I'm kind of open here, so I can get my leg pretty far out. You might need to like help yourself. You might need to be a little further up. Whatever feels useful to you. Here you want to be feeling the stretch on the inner part of your leg. All right, lift that leg up and switch. Take your left foot into the strap or the towel. Stretch your right leg. Remember, if this feels like too much, you can bend that knee. Hold it here for a moment. Acknowledge, is this side tighter, less tight? This is my tighter side, so I'll be making a few more faces. Start to point and flex. Oh man, your foot. Couple more. And then take both sides into your right hand, left arm off to the side. Remember, you're gonna, or on your hip, right? You're gonna keep your hip still as you send your left foot to the right some amount. Sometimes if it's really far down, you might not feel a side leg stretch. Pull it in a little closer to you. Ooh, that's the ticket. And then if you want to go in for that full twist where you send your foot all the way across, holy moly, you can do that version as well. All righty, one more breath. And then lift your leg up, switch, grab both ends with your left hand, send your foot off to the left. Again, if you've got furniture, you can use it, or a wall. Sometimes it's nice to press your foot up against something. Take that stretch. Oh man, feeling it along the inner part of your leg. All right, and then lift it up. Okay, so now bend both knees into your chest. And you have an option here. You're gonna take your towel and you can curl up and send it over your feet like that. So it's on the other side of your feet and butt, But if you're tight in your back, that might feel really hard, in which case you can just kind of lower it and catch it behind your legs and do that. So with your arms long and on the floor to start, just find that shoulder width distance, find that gentle pull. And when you're pulling, can you feel your back engage a little bit, your lats really, and probably the underside of your arms here. Again, I'm not pulling the hardest I can pull. That would be miserable, right? We're going to be here for a little while, just enough to find it. And then you're going to bring your legs to tabletop. So I'm hovering my towel now a couple inches off the floor and curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and lower it down. Curl up and lower it down. So you can really feel if you're curling up and getting your shoulders up, because you can feel your towel move away from your legs and then press up against your legs again. Curl up and down. If you're tired, you can put your legs down. You can do the same thing. Curl up and down. Tuck that chin. Curl up and down. Lower the arms down. Ooh, that was tiring over here. Okay, so now for the 100, you have options as always. You can leave your feet down, curl up, and pump the arms like this. If it's touching your legs, still no big deal, but just know that you're trying to curl up high enough to not touch your legs. I'm still touching my legs. There's also the option to have your legs at tabletop and pump like that. There's also the final option is to have your head down, but then you should pump your arms up higher because it'll be definitely in the way of your legs, or you could even have your head down and pump up here. It's really hard to stabilize up here. All right, so you've got lots of options. You've got 10 breaths to practice. I'm gonna go with my towel here, and I'm gonna curl up. So inhale, tuck your chin. Exhale, curl up if that's what you're doing, and start to pump. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. With this gentle pulling on your towel, real gentle, hopefully you feel that pumping happening from your lats, from the back of the armpits. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Remember, if this becomes too much, if your heart rate goes up and you don't want it to, please lower it down and take a break. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Final breath. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, drop the towel, lower it down. Even if you weren't curled up, rock your head left to right, let your neck release. If you need a moment after that, if that's the first time you've done the 100 like that in a long time, take your time to recover from that. But if you're ready to go, your feet are coming down to the floor, you're grabbing your towel again and lifting it up. If you've got this thing under your head like I do, let's get rid of it because we're about to lift the hips up. So you're going to take your towel up in the air and then you're going to press it into your thighs as you lift your thighs and hips up into a bridge. I'm not pressing really hard, just a little bit. And then lower your spine down and lift the towel up. If this feels really unstable, you can put your hands on the floor, skip the towel, just do the bridges, okay? If you're feeling wobbly or like that's a lot, you put your hands on the floor and help yourself in that way. And roll down. Now for breath, I don't really care as long as you keep breathing, okay? Don't hold your breath. If there's one place you hold your breath, maybe it's up here. And then you could release it if you like. But don't hold your breath when you're lowering down or when you're lifting up. Let it flow. Two more. Or if you're going slower, just one more probably. Ooh. All right, so get rid of your towel. We stretched out the legs. Hopefully they still feel a little stretchy. You're gonna hug your right knee into your chest and lengthen your left leg long, flex the foot. So if this becomes like too much, you can bend the knee, and that'll be a little way to help like support your lower back and your hips. But otherwise, you're gonna stretch your leg up to the sky, the right one, point your foot, turn this right leg out like a ballerina, and then bring your arms down by your side. Draw some circles on the ceiling. 4 more in this direction. So what you're doing is you're drawing the circle with your leg, but try to keep your belly in and try to keep your hips still while your leg draws this circle on the ceiling. Maybe it's more of an oval. And then you reverse. If you've got your knee bent, your circle will be more narrow for sure. And it'll be a little less like stressful or straining on the hamstring. But I feel like it's a little harder to stabilize. So just harder on your abs, no big deal. 1 more. Ooh. And then hug the knee into your chest and twist it over to the left side. Really twist it over, reach the right arm, and breathe. If this feels like too much twist in your lower back, you hug your knee in closer to your chest. That's one way to get out of there. And then bring it in. And switch. Hug your left leg in, stretch it, flex the right leg now, the right ankle, I should say. Point your left foot, turn it out. Take your arms off to the side. You're going to try to keep your hips nice and still as you draw some circles for 5, 4. Use your abdominals to help lift your leg up. Last one in this direction. Reverse. This song is hard. I'm not gonna lie. I used to hate single leg circles before this pandemic forced me to do mat Pilates for 1.5 years. And after a while, your leg gets stronger, I promise. Don't reverse. This is the last one. Hug the leg in. It's hard to hold your leg up like that, right? Twist, and then open this arm out to the side. Okay, coming back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. You're gonna bring your hands behind your head. We already did a really hard version of curling up with that towel in your hands. So now we're going back to a nice supported curl up. You're gonna gently tuck the chin just a little bit, press your head into your hands so that you feel your upper back engage, and press your head back into your hands, and then curl up and lower. Curl up and lower. This head into hands and hands into head pressure is really light, but it helps you stay, like, keep yourself from jamming your chin forward and working the front of your neck too much. We want to fold the spine right here below the sternum and ribs, where those upper abs begin, because that's what we're trying to strengthen here, right? Let's add, if you need a break, you take it, but we're going to add a twist. You're going to twist to the right, lift your right leg up to tabletop, lower down, curl up, twist to the left, lift your left leg up. As you do this, can you keep your hips still? That means you twist your upper body, but not your lower body. I'm going to do 3 more sets. You take your time. Just remember that if you go really, really slow, it's actually going to be harder. So don't torture yourself. Last set on my count. And lower. All right, roll over onto your side. This is another great place to use any kind of pillow or thing you're using for your head. In fact, I'm going to make mine a little thicker by folding it in half, so that when I lay on my side, again, my neck is in line as opposed to being bent over. Okay, so now we're going to do some side legs today. I feel like we don't do these that often. They're quite hard, but worth it. So pull your abdominals in, Your waist ideally is like a little off the mat, or if it's touching, it's like not hanging out in the mat. I'm like trying to lift it away. Okay, that's going to help you stabilize your hips and your lower back. Your top hand can be here on the floor. I like to just kind of hook my bottom arm. And also just make sure that you're straight. I was a little curled up like I was taking a nap. Long, long spine. Okay, lift just your knee up and lower. Classic clamshell, working the outer hip that we stretched before. 3 and 4, 5 and 6. 2 more like this, 7 and 8. So that was external rotation, right? Now we're gonna add internal rotation. So turn it out and then dive the knee in, knee to knee, and then heel to heel. Can you keep this hip bone still? So a lot of times what happens is we rock the whole body with our leg, and then instead of stretching and working our hip, we're just sort of not doing that as much. So try to keep your hips really still while you do this. Of course, I lost count, so let's do one more after this one. Shooting for 8 here. And then lower down. So one more thing we're going to do here, you're going to lift your leg up in parallel and you're just going to stretch it out to straight. So take a look at yourself. Make sure your heel is in line with your hip, in line with your shoulder. So it's not in front or in back. It's right in line. Abs are in, and this knee is going to try not to pop up. It's going to try to stay down. And then you just bring it forward again. And you stretch it out to straight. Feel those abs. Zip up. And stretch out. And in. Stretch out. This is like surprisingly difficult, because if you can do it and like actually look at yourself while you're doing it, you might notice your foot is actually like this, or you're a little like this, right? You don't want to come down. You want to keep your leg in parallel the whole time, really taxing on this outer hip. Really useful for helping your knees and your hips and your lower back to track and stay strong. Ooh. All right, enough of that. Come on up, you can roll over, take the screen with you, or flip over like this. Excuse me. Okay, so set yourself up, and each side can be really different. So take this moment to make sure you're feeling stacked. Your knees are stacked one on top of the other. You're set up, check in on your waist, and then start to lift the knee and lower. 2 and lower. 3 and lower. 4 and 5 and 6. 2 more and 8. Now you lift the knee up and then you turn it in and you turn it out, heel to heel, knee to knee and heel to heel, knee to knee and heel to heel, knee to knee, heel to heel. 5, 4. I'm noticing, just because I can see myself, that I was a little curled forward. You want to have a long spine, as if you were sitting up or standing up really straight. All right, I feel like that was 8 lower down. So be really sure to check yourself, because right, there's a lot of elements to keep in line. Okay, let's lift this leg up. This foot of mine likes to turn out, right? Notice, does yours? Can you bring it back to parallel without turning it in too much? Look, that my knee rolled it, right? So you want to find it for yourself by looking, and then stretch it out to straight and in. It may feel really sort of contrived and kind of extra when you're really focusing on your alignment like this. Because if you tend to walk with your feet turned out or your knees turned in, it'll feel weird. But it's important to do this to give those muscles that maybe are a little tight when you walk turned out or turned in a chance to stretch and kind of do their thing in this nice parallel alignment without your usual adaptations that we all have. Make sure it's going all the way back in line with your hip. It should help you feel maybe even a little hamstring or glute in there. Let's do a couple more. Feeling those abs. Just a little. Last one. And lower down. Ooh, so good. Okay, lay down on your back and cross one ankle over the opposite knee. Maybe this is enough of a stretch for you if you're quite tight, but if not, you're grabbing this thigh and pulling your shin towards you. So it's like a nice laying down pigeon stretch, also known as the figure 4. And then switch. Cross that ankle over, grab your thigh if you can, and give yourself this stretch. Alrighty, we are going to end seated. So rolling over to your side, helping yourself up is the sort of nicest, safest way to do it. You're gonna sit crisscross applesauce, unless that, if you're tight in your hips, you might try sitting on something, right? Like sitting on this and raising the pelvis will be nice. Or you can also just sit on your knees like this, right? So either way is fine. Those are all of your options. I'm working on my hip mobility, so I'm gonna sit like this. Taking a nice tall spine, open your arms out to the side. So for a little side stretch, you place one hand down and then maybe get your elbow down. And then push up. I did not get my elbow down. And then take your other hand. And try to keep the front of your body facing forward. There's a tendency to kind of rotate one way or the other. For now, let's try to stay really facing straight ahead so you get a true side stretch. And then there's this moment, your side muscles are actually working too. We're stretching them, but when you push, you're engaged here, particularly on that underside here. So this is my left arm down on the floor. I'm going to push and feel the left side of my waist and then the right side of my waist catch me. So it's quite active, even though it's not maybe super hard. If you're very flexible, if you're like folding all the way to the floor, you might feel it more in your waist actually. So, all right, last one before I get dizzy here. You're gonna go over to one side and hold. And now you are going to rotate your chest to the floor and then to the ceiling. Think about your rib cage. It's like a barrel, right? So rotate this barrel to the floor and then to the ceiling. Try to keep this standing shoulder out of your ear. Let's do 2 more here. And up. Keep breathing. Keep your hips. And then come up. We got to do that other side. So over. Rotate like a barrel to the floor and to the ceiling. To the floor. To the ceiling. One more. Keep breathing into the bottommost part of your ribs and lungs, and then come to center, facing your screen probably. Come on up and lower the arms down. And you are all done. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hope to see you here again soon. Bye.